Okay, we are going to do another Christmas card. And it's made with some things old and some things new. And of course, a lot of things from my stash. Let's turn that light away. Maybe you can get a better. I don't know. The colors do not come through true all the time. And this really is a beautiful card. I used my Biggs ice skate die and cut out a pair of skates. I cut it out of the shimmering sort of metallic sheen paper I pick up at Michael's. I use these new Tim Holtz Alterations dies from Sizzix. They're paper snowflakes. They're so pretty. This is a leaf die from Sizzix, and it's mistletoe, but the set is just one of their leaf die. I don't know if it's one or two. I'm going to need a plastic baggie. I used Embossability's, what is this one called? Used it last time. Holiday Magic. I used a couple of different paint brushes, one stiff bristled and one softer. A bit of ribbon, glitter, and 1/8" double-sided tape. Paper, Distress Spray, and pewter. I used Mowed Lawn on this one. I think I'm going to use Wild Honey on the one we're going to build. White crochet string. This is the heavier stuff. Pumice Tone Distress. Tea-dye Distress. A small punch tag for the sentiment. I have two stamps that I used. One's a bit of decoration, the other one is just this inexpensive foam stamp. It says Season's Greetings. And Stampin' Up! Ink Close to Cocoa. And this is paper from my stash. And, well, I love this paper. It's from a Christmas pack from Die Cuts with a View, and I got it a couple of years ago, so I don't know if you can still get it or not. As you know, paper packs with their patterns tend to change in and out a lot. So the first thing we're going to do is get the die cutting out of the way. And this is just a scrap of green from my stash. And I'm going to cut the mistletoe leaves out from it. I just need 2 pieces. with that one. Let's do the snowflakes. I need the two biggest ones, so those two. This comes with 5 dies. These I have available in my eBay store, Scrapping and Stamping. I'll put a link to it if you're interested in having a set for yourself. I am really enjoying them. Now, I'm using this side of the paper. It's shiny, and these come out just looking so incredibly interesting with the different colors that's on this page. And you want to put the dies face down on the pattern that you want to show on your snowflake. First time I did this, I did it with, I did it on the other side. I liked the other side so much, but then I turned the snowflakes over, and they were just really totally awesomely cool. Putting a couple of extra sheets of paper in there to shim it a little bit. Okay, now these I want to run the embossing mat over. So just flip back the, I'm supposed to, tab 1 and tab 2, I just flip them back. Run this through. You could, of course, rub ink over and the raised spots if you were doing other than this highly patterned paper, and have some lovely highlights. But I'm not going to do that. It's just cool looking. Clean out my die. Here's the next one. Those are just so neat. these away, set them aside, we don't need them anymore. They come in this neat vellum packaging. I'm glad they have thought to do this. Very clever. Okay. Set those aside for a moment. Now I'm going to cut, I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm going to bring the mat all the way to the edge so there won't be any white showing. It'll just be the gold glitter around the edge. I need a piece 5 by 7. Run this through the embossing folder and bring this back up. And this will emboss a 5 by 7 sheet, so I don't have any worries about this being too big to be embossed. I think I want to run this through so it's not quite as deep of embossing as I would get doing it the way I normally do. This paper likes to crack. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. That's just not enough. Let's see if one will give me enough lift. Embossing. This is one of my favorite embossing folders. I think we're done with that now. Okay, now here's where the score tape comes in, and it doesn't have to be a score tape brand. There's scrappy tape, there's probably others, but you're just going to lay down, let me see, and get in closer and still work on screen. It's going to lay down a strip right on the edge. Now you're going to want to use a blade to cut this. You don't want to tear it because you want the precision. burnish it down, because you do not want this going anywhere after you've got the glitter on it. Okay, now the opposite side. And of course you are welcome to put glue on by hand, but the first time I saw this technique, it was like, wow, I am never going to go back to the old way unless for some reason I've been stupid enough to run out of 1/8" score tape. Okay, I'll take both of these off. And lay down the other ends. It's better to overlap the tape in the corners than to miss any of it. I just don't want any bald spots. Sorry. Try to stay in my square box here. Just get involved in what I'm doing and forget that I'm trying to share something with you guys. Okay, both of those burnished. Glitter. And the pan in a line like that. I find it makes it easier. You know, just press the glitter into the glue. One of the great things about this technique is once the glitter's on, it's just not going anywhere. Look at that. A perfect edge. Is that not awesome? We're not done with the glitter just yet. Take my snowflakes. Find a little scrap of paper. Put some glue on. My stiff brush. Now I am just going to do the tips with glue. If that's helpful or not. Ow. Okay. I tried this with, putting more glitter on, and it really, the gold overpowered the rest of the colors. So, went to this instead. Okay, so they're just a little bit of highlight. Do the other one, same way. Just a little bit on the tips. Just dental color. Okay, we're done with the glitter. See if I can get this back in here without making too big of a mess. Having to run the heaters again, the air is just really dry, so it's full of static electricity. I think I'm going to have to run my brush through a dryer sheet here. Through with the glitter. We're through with the blue. Okay. I'm going to adhere that down to a 5x7 card. Now, of course, you can adjust this for any size you need it to be within the boundaries of the size of the skates. ATG with the 1/2" tape. Work on the skates. And first thing I'm going to do is paint on the blades. I'm going to shake up my brush Peter. You can find the distress sprays in my store as well. This is where I need the soft brush. I don't want to lose any of this, but it goes for miles. I'm just gonna paint it on. Stuff is just amazing. Just up to the bottom of the heel and bottom of the shoe. And the last time I did black for the heels, I think this time I'm going to do a brown. Change it up and see what that looks like. And I did the black exactly the same way I'm doing the brown, except I used black soot. And I think I'm going to use walnut stain this time. So I got out my acrylic pad and my ink pad. You know what? I am not going to do walnut stain. I think it's going to be darker than I want. So I'm going to go up to gathered twigs. So I'm just going to ink on my ink right there. Now I'm going to give it just a little squish of water. Stir. Now essentially I've got watercolor in brown here. And this is going to react differently to different kinds of paper. Now remember, I'm using that shimmer paper. Put a sole on it. Just a narrow bit down here. Yeah, I would not have been happy with the walnut stain. In fact, brush corduroy could maybe have done the job. It's not nearly as yellow as I would like the color to be, but it's still going to be great. just down there. Alrighty then. Done with that. Give this a nice big spray and wipe it off. I'm going to get my water brush and see if I can clean this up a little bit. If I can't, no big deal, but if I can, I'll be happier with it. Looks like that might work. This one just may destined to live behind the other one. Could happen. Okay, next thing is to take the pumice stone and edge the skates and give them some age. Again, every paper will react differently, so you might want to try, test what your ink's going to do on a piece of scrap. Those aside. I'm going to pull back out just a little bit. Afraid I'm getting off camera and I really don't mean to. Okay. The next thing is coloring the string. Now, as you can see, I made green last time. And I used Mowed Lawn. Now the very first time I dunked it in, I just used it straight with one spritz of water, and it doesn't look anything like, it's really intense color. It's an olive green. Not what I wanted. I ended up using a lot of sprays, like 1 spritz of the color and like 8 spritz from my water bottle. And I think I'm going to use the gold color this time, and this is Wild Honey, and I will show you how I stain my string. It took about a yard to lace both boots. So I'm going to give myself a yard and plenty more. And I do this to string a lot. And no matter how many colors they put out there, they can't make all of them. And of course, you know, sometimes you find the perfect color, and sometimes you find the perfect color, but it's not really, it's a shade off. Okay, now the trick I have found to this is the color you see here is the color this is going to be. So it's still too dark for me. Okay, so that's 8 sprays of color to 1. And that's still kind of dark. So we'll do a little more. Alright. Now, get this opened up. And I have seen people just throw it in there and smush it around. I'm not fond of how that works. So I gather my bag up, and then I fill it with air. And then just shake the bejesus out of it. That still came out more orange than my last one did, but it's going to be pretty. So that string will be relatively evenly colored. Lean out the bag. I don't want to use it again, and I don't want the yellow in there. And these rags are amazing. I get them at Walmart. They're in the kitchen stuff. They're just white cotton tea towels. They're huge. They're huge, 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 huge. And I use it up, throw it in the wash, and bring it back for more. That's what I asked to have. That's what I asked for Christmas last year, and I got 2 packages of them, which gave me like 6 rags. And I cycle through 2 of them. You know, one's in the wash, and I'm using one, so they're probably going to last a long time. This will lighten up a little bit as it dries, but I don't think it's going to be the same bright as that. That's alright. I should have maybe done a half a spritz of the spray stain instead of a whole one. Now always put something between your heat tool and your cutting mat, as the cutting mat will bubble and warp under the heat tool, and there's no way to make it flat again. So I just use this piece of scrap lumber. Okay, you're going to need a big-eyed needle. Blunt tipped, pointed tip, doesn't matter. The big-eyed part, that's important. Let's lace our boot. Put down the top hole. Give yourself at least 4 inches of string. Bring it back up, skip 1, and bring it down the second. Okay. Bring it up around and skip the next hole, and you're essentially just doing a whip stitch here. Go. See how it's gone down here, and then down, down. Just bringing it around the edge of the paper. Every other slot. Okay, and you get here and there isn't one to skip. Bring it around and drop it through that last hole. Now you're going to bring it up, and again you're going to put it through the first empty hole. Like a laced shoe. Now, and down through that next empty hole. And again. Through the last empty hole. And you're just going to leave it so one string's coming out each side. practice makes perfect, and I've got to get them both laced anyway. So, down through the first hole, leave a nice long tail, come up and go down through the third hole down, skipping one, back, skip one, back and skip one, all the way down until you get to the last one, and there isn't one to skip, so put it through that hole, the last hole, and then come back and go down through the first empty hole. You have the start of your lacings. Again. It's just amazing how that works. And there. There we go. 2 boots. Laced and ready to go. There they go. There they go. Okay, bring this back out. Okay, the next thing to prepare is the tag. So, I'm going to get my ink applicator and my tea dye and just go around like this. Until I'm happy with the look. Next thing I'm going to do is put on the Season's Greetings. And this stamp tends to stamp a little light, so I'm going to get this inked up really good. Put it on there and squiggle it around a little bit. Okay. Not going to worry about that. In a perfect world, I would do another one, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to cover up my mess with a bit of decoration. Ta-da! Thing I'm going to do is next thing I'm going to do is build out the tag. And start with the ribbon. Well, I do a backwards, instead of going forwards like when you tie your shoe, I go backwards and I push it up. And this was something I learned back in my childhood somewhere, when you're tying an apron ribbon or the ribbon on a back of a sash on the back of a dress. It's a way to make the bow hang flat. So I have always done that because, well, simply because it works. And it's habit by now. If it's a double-faced ribbon, it doesn't really matter how you do it. If it, it's all a matter of choice. Try it either way, whatever you like best. Okay. Well, I really am fond of my Aleene's Tacky Glue. Put the greenery coming off the back. Okay. Those are ready to go. Okay. The next thing is to put the snowflakes on. And I have the big one at the bottom, little one at the top. I don't know that it matters. They're both beautiful. Dotting some glue on here. Careful not to be too heavy-handed. I don't want it to squidge out everywhere. The yellow piece up, I think. And this, both papers are slick on both sides. And this Aleene's Tacky Glue is just, it's going to stick. And it's going to stay stuck. This is my favorite glue of all time. Now that would be a great base. You could put a snowman on here. You could do a large sentiment. You could do mittens. Just, this would be a great base to go almost anywhere from. I'm going to think I have enough ribbon to, enough string to, well, I might wrap around and carefully tie a bow. This is going to be fun. I do not have the smallest hands on the planet. I don't even have the smallest hands in my house, I don't think. My husband has the hands of a pianist. Most beautiful hands. He is a pianist. Oh, my old chubby fingers here. Alright. Okay. Just a smidge. Alright. Let's see if I can do this twice in a row. Very generous on my tails. Okay. Got 2 boots done. Figure out where I want them to be. I think that's going to work fine. Now, I mail most of my Christmas cards, so I tend to glue them down flat and make as flat as possible, but you could certainly pop these up on dimensionals. I think that would look lovely. I'd actually thought about it and then vetoed it. Far away from most of my family. I like this shimmer paper for Christmas projects. Certainly takes ink differently though. Now this piece certainly would look fine on a dimensional as well, but I am not going to. Put a little bit of glue there. We are done. That was relatively quick. It was easy, and it's beautiful. I mean, what more do you want? Especially if you got to make more than like one. Alright, I'll be back with something else really soon. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Alright, there we are. It's all done. Here's the other one we did. And side by side. How do you choose? Everybody, y'all have a great day, and I will see you again soon with something else.